Hello guys. All right, I'm gonna give this a few minutes just to get started so that you guys can all join in. I'm going to get all my stuff set up here so I can see what everyone is saying to me. It's been a little while. It's been overdue. So just bear with me for a second. Starting a little later. Well, I'm sorry on time, but I usually like to start like 5 minutes early so that I can get all this stuff set up. But figured this might be better this way. So, all right, we've got sound there, it looks like. What's up, Twitch? We should be doing YouTube as well. Let me pop out this chat real quick. That's not what we want at all. Once we get some people here, I will put on some music while we get set up. Maybe a little preview of something. I don't know, I was thinking about putting this one on the solo album. Again, I don't think it's what you guys are expecting. But, alright, looks like YouTube is good. We will play this track. I will play this track as well. This is what we're in for. We'll go in depth. Don't worry. We're gonna play all of this. And I know I did this on a stream like kind of recently, but we just did like a quick overview. I figured we'd do an in-depth thing. I've been getting a lot of questions about the whole orchestral side of things, like what plugins, how do I approach it. So I figured this would be a good thing. I have another project open, which could be a good thing to look at. But I'll tell you what, while I get set up, I'll just play some music for you guys. This is something that maybe I'll put on the solo album. I don't know. We'll see. Kind of leaning towards it. I have a few ideas of stuff that needs to happen to it, but I don't know. I hope you guys like it. Looks like we might have gotten disconnected. Either that or my laptop's acting up. Let's find out. No, we are good. Okay. So it's just my laptop that's acting up for some dumb reason. I don't know why. Okay, cool. Well, I don't need to cancel the stream. I've been having trouble with why my laptop's acting up. That's very strange. Usually where I look at the comments. Well, it's been acting up enough. We're just going to restart it. Not the stream. I'll get this posted. Meantime. almost done here. That song is too. This just kind of fade out on this. I don't know. This is something I was messing with years ago, but I think I'll put it on the solo album and kind of like it. It's very simple. What am I looking for? I know what I'm looking for. Yeah, it looks like my laptop was just acting up. That's good. At least my stream's not down. I was about to cancel the stream. All right, pop this out, and we should be ready to roll. Sweet. All right, so how is everyone doing today? Everyone good? We're gonna be talking about orchestral stuff today, which is something that is very dear to my heart. Bought Zilla cabs after you answered my question last stream. They made a video of how to upload Wave to Aspect 3. It was tricky. Okay, so you can do that. I haven't actually tried to do that yet. I probably should. The only reason I don't bother is because I just I have it open in the project and I can change it on the fly. Yeah, orchestral bangs, they say. Okay, as is the parlance of our times. Am I right? Where that shit is fire. I'm in no way proclaiming to be an expert at this. This is more that I've just gotten a lot of questions about how I approach it. It's about the best I can do, unfortunately, is just tell you how I approach it. I don't know if this is the right way, the wrong way, whatever. Doesn't really matter if you guys just want to see like what I use. So let's talk about the actual project that we're supposed to be focusing on today, now that we have a bunch of people here. So we have the Final Fantasy VII battle theme, which, you know, is one of the best battle themes in my opinion. And I don't know if you guys know this, probably a lot of you do, but you know that I'm a huge fan of the composer Nobuo Uematsu, and he's one of my biggest influences in general. He's one of those ones that I think a lot of people don't realize that, like, what a massive influence he is. But then, like, once you understand that he is, it's like, oh, I get it. Yeah, I hear it. It's all over the place. So there's a lot of Nobuo worship going on. Oh, it looks like we got a donation here. Yo, it's Beans Sesset. Thanks for the donation, pal. Says, yo, Misha, been a huge fan for the band for almost 10 years. First saw you guys open for Dream Theater in Albany, New York. I have a question. What do you feel defines you as an artist? Do you have a clear sense of identity, or are you just striving to be someone else? Defines me as an artist? I don't really think about that. I'm not trying to define myself as an artist or anything. Just trying to have fun. Honestly, that's probably the best tip I could give all you guys. I remember people being like, you know, oh, you know, that's not original. Like, you know, like I loved Meshuggah back, or I still love them, but like I used to do like super Meshuggah-ish things, and people be like, you know, that's not original. Like Meshuggah's already done. I'm like, yeah, but it's fun. You know, it's like I don't care about being original at all, and I think there's a lot of people that put this. I mean, if that's what you care about, then go for it. You know, you do you. For me personally, it's never been about sort of trying to be original, trying to invent a new genre or this or that. It's literally just about trying to have fun, because I enjoy the process. I don't even think I'm particularly good at music, but I enjoy making music. I enjoy being involved with it, so I just want to do that. And I'd say that's probably the same with all the things I enjoy. I'm not particularly great at any of the things I enjoy, but I just enjoy them, and that's what I get out of it. So hopefully that answers your question somewhat. But anyways, let's take a look at this. Let's listen through, and then we can kind of break it apart, however you guys want to break it apart. So yeah, that was a cover I did. The goal with this was two things. One was an ear training thing. I always like to cover stuff and see, you know, what I can actually pick up by ear. But this was double. The other thing that was kind of tricky was I was trying to basically convert, you know, the PlayStation MIDI or whatever, the PlayStation sound engine, if you want to call it that. You know, that's what Nobuo programmed this into, if you know the original. And he's approximating an orchestra, but you know, I had to kind of listen. And I've explained this before, but you know, an orchestra is kind of positioned very specifically. Like certain things sit in very specific places, and he had everything panned correctly as far as I can tell. So that's how sometimes some of these sounds that didn't necessarily I couldn't really tell what instrument it was supposed to be because it wasn't being represented that well or that realistically. I was like, oh, but based off that position and where in the range it is, it's probably this instrument or that. So I did it to the best of my ability. I don't know that's 100% accurate. You know, it was a good exercise in trying to see how to compose for orchestra. There's a lot of tricks and a lot of cool things I picked up just from trying to recreate this. So for a lot of people are asking, you know, how do you go about composing, or how do you go about approaching this? Like, that's not a bad idea. It's like you take some song that you like and see how accurately can you recreate it, or like what can you recreate, or could you interpret an existing song in an orchestral fashion? And since this one required a little bit of interpretation, but a lot of it was just like, okay, these are the notes, and how is this actually moving? That was a really good exercise for me. So I did this a few years back, and I prepped it so it would open up on this computer for you, because that took a little bit of it actually wasn't that much work, but yeah. So Mad Villain donated, says, been a fan since the SoundClick days. You made me want to start recording. Thanks for streams. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you so much for watching. So yeah, we got Finesse Greg in here, or Fitness Greg as we all like to call him. So thanks for modding. And do I play a guitar part and convert to MIDI and put an orchestral instrument on it? No. So for this, I actually just entered everything in by hand, because it's honestly quicker. You can play these in like, you know, on your oops. But it's just sometimes quicker to program it all by hand. There are two general approaches to how you organize this. So one thing that you'll notice is I'm organizing this by section. So I've got the woodwinds here up top, I've got the strings there, and I've got the brass here, and I've got the percussion here at the bottom. So I've kind of arranged everything like that, so that, you know, and I've got everything labeled sort of as it would be. You know, we've got the flutes, the oboe, clarinet, bassoon. We've got violin 1, violin 2, which are two different sections of violins. We have the violas, the cellos, and the contrabass. So, and here you'll see I have different articulations for them. So I've got the legato articulation, which is, you know, where so like that legato, it's pretty smart, because depending on the velocity, it could do like a portamento slide. But legato means it connects to the, you know, it's like legato on guitar. But basically, they've recorded it so it connects to the next note, which is really cool. It makes it sound very realistic. We've got spiccato, which is the tightest articulation. And then I've got a tremolo. And those are all polyphonic. The legato is the only one that's monophonic for the most part. There's a way to set that up. Here, I'm going to try and pay attention to what you guys are saying also. But, anyways, all right. So for the libraries that we're using, because that's one of the things got asked a lot what I was using. So for this one, I was actually using Spitfire symphonic strings, and I'm layering. I'm doing something which I like to do, which is layering existing libraries. So just the Spitfire symphonic strings is. And it's on this performance legato setting here where you can get like faster notes, because not every library can do that well. And I'm layering that with LA scoring strings, which is a really dry in-your-face library. But I think I have ambience on this. And then layered together. Oh wait, no, sorry, it's not just that. You got the first chair. Oh, there we go. So the three together sound like that. It's like, it's pretty in your face, but it's got good ambience, you know, kind of layering it like that. Yeah, I see some people talking about the BBC library. I haven't tried that one out yet. I'm a very big fan of the Spitfire stuff when it comes to sort of traditional orchestral stuff. But sometimes to get these things to cut through and have like a bit of the energy, or just to make them sound a little different, I will layer them. So that's LA scoring strings. And if you want to hear just like the strings on this first section. Like a little bit of like I don't know, like tension, action going on. It's kind of a tense sound, you know. But basically, there's two ways that you could do this. But again, I always talk about Cubase, but like that's what I'm using right now. Cubase has one distinct advantage. Actually, the other project I'll show you guys has this set up this way. So this way you could kind of see both ways. So one way, this is a more traditional approach where you have every sort of articulation, as they call it. So it's every sort of move that you could do. Legato, spiccato, staccato, portato, flautando, you know, like all sorts of crazy different ways of playing the instrument. And not crazy ways, just like a lot of them are very traditional. And then there's some pretty crazy articulations and like some of the libraries. Spitfire likes to do that. And then you just make tracks for each one and, you know, they correspond. And then you just click on what you want, right? But Cubase has this other, specifically Cubase has this thing, which is called an expression map. So you could actually just have one track connected to every articulation. You have to build it, and I built it for other instruments. And there's advantages and disadvantages, but it makes it very neat because you could basically have just one track for your violin one and have like 10 articulations. And at the bottom, you choose below the note which articulation you want it to be. So you could have it change its articulation with every note. Doing that here, you'd have to, you know, just do a note across every track, and it would take a little bit more time. So depending on, you know, if you know you're going to be switching articulations a lot, you could do it that way. Though a lot of people and a lot of pro composers I see will just have it like this, where everything's just laid out, ready to go. They'll have their entire like computer's worth of samples set up like that with like hundreds of tracks. They have like crazy. If you ever see like Hans Zimmer setup or Tom Holkenborg Junkie XL setup, like he has everything just set up and both of those guys use Cubase as well. And they can just basically access any instrument they want at any time. So that's super handy if you just kind of want to go to it and you don't want to have to open it up or set it up every time. Oh, it looks like we've got... Do we have a raid? Is it from Herman? It's from Herman. Oh, with a party of 608. Yo, thanks, Herman. You rule. I went on a nice little drive with Herman today. Sam from Dragon Force wants advice on the stock market. Well, he should have invested last night because we got a nice little bump today, didn't we? I love it. I saw a picture which kind of describes it's like the world's on fire right now and the stock market's just chilling, like it's chilling on a bench. Like that's what's going on. How are we doing? How are we doing, guys? Sorry, YouTubes. We have a raid going on Twitch, but someone said Spitfire equals you love sound but hate money. That's not wrong. But was such a mess having separate tracks and switching MIDI clip mid-phrase for other articulations. All right, well, hey, since Herman's crowd's here, we're gonna play this for them again. I'll answer some questions in chat. There, but welcome guys. Yeah, we're just nerding out over some orchestral composition stuff since this is something I'm kind of into. So yeah, I've divided this up in sections for the woodwinds on this one. I think I was just using the Spitfire woodwinds. Is it layered? Oh, it is layered. Pretty funny because I actually love both of these libraries. Berlin Woodwinds. Berlin Woodwinds was one of the first like really good sounding woodwind libraries. It's pretty German and pretty intense and you know, it takes a bit of work, but sounds fantastic. And then Spitfire came out with symphonic woodwinds, which I think sounds great, but they sound I think they complement each other well. The Spitfire stuff always, I don't want to say it has a washy sound, it's a roomy sound because they recorded at Air, which is a fantastic room. That's part of what you're buying. So I think they always want to kind of promote. You can use the close mic, but I do like the sound that it has. So, every time that wheel comes on, I'm like, oh, this is it. We're crashing. Yeah, it's like one's more upfront, one's more room. But you layer it, it sounds more unique. So one of the things that I realized was that when you have all this stuff, I think, especially writing music like with a traditional band, you find that you know, you're using all the instruments all the time. And one thing that's really clever that I picked up from this was how, and you can see this because I've divided this up into the sections as well, how Nobuo has basically taken the melody line that you associate in your head and split it across the sections. So I'll show you a great example of that, just right in the beginning. That ascending line, the da-na-na-na-na, right? That's as far as the brass goes on that one. It's actually completely kind of dead as far as melody on both flutes and on winds on that part. This is the only thing going on. It's just the holding the bass down, right? So then it transfers over as it hits that next sort of octave or stage of the melodic phrase. And then that goes to... I might have reinforced that with some strings. But it was kind of a cool trick. It shows you that, you know, negative space or whatever you want to call it, but sort of using your section so that the melody that you associate as this one concrete melody is actually just being built by all these instruments at different points in time. And then if you just listen, just holds it. It's sick. And it's like there's little call and response things, you know, like this thing. Like, and in context. Then finally percussion. You know what? You guys are gonna laugh, but like, I'm really, really bad at orchestral percussion. As much as I pride myself in being able to program realistic drums for, like, you know, traditional drum set, I struggle with orchestral percussion. This one I think came out pretty good, but both getting it to sound good and both sort of programming stuff. I guess because I have no real insight as to what goes into it, I have to just sort of copy stuff. Because I could sort of base this off of what was there, it made it a lot easier. But that's something I really need to improve. But I think, yeah, just using Native Instruments action strikes, which comes with a complete... Am I using any of this stuff? Let's see. Action strikes actually sounds pretty good. And again, I just copied what was, you know, coming from the official soundtrack, note for note. Let's answer some of you guys' questions. Let's interact with you guys a little bit because I don't want you to feel neglected. So, oh, it's crazy how none of it's balanced and so smooth. So that's just because I'm using my iMac Pro, which is pretty powerful. I upgraded to this specifically because it was running orchestral projects really well without me having to like, this is not optimized at all. I actually could probably set this up to run a lot better, but I haven't even bothered. Now that music production in iOS is starting to become more and more legit with companies such as Steinberg, FabFilter developing apps, plugins, any chance of GGD coming to iOS? I'd say it's an emerging market. It's something that we may look into in the future, but right now even like all our stuff is just in it runs in Contact. I don't know if you have Contact for iOS. I doubt that's a thing. So it's something that we could look into, but we have to kind of chase the majority of the market. We're not big enough to kind of attack everything at once, so we have to prioritize, if that makes sense. I could see that being something that maybe would be more powerful in the future. But I feel like a lot of the iOS, specifically iOS, like it's kind of a dumbed down OS. Like when it comes down to it, you don't have a lot of customization and control. It'd be interesting to see if that's what people get into, because as you start to approach this sort of level here, then it's like you want control, you want customization, you want stuff like that. I could see iOS being like a great sort of gateway drug, as it were, to get people into it. They're like, oh, I already have a phone or iPad or whatever, and I can get this recording software. And then that will sort of transition you into the sort of full-on studio software like Cubase, whatever, right? I don't know. What do you guys think? Will there be an Animals as Leaders documentary for the new album? I mean, you'd have to ask the guys. We haven't been having anyone film for the writing sessions, at least, so that's not going to be in there. Sorry, pals. We've just been writing. Let's see. Did I record the notes too, or use a MIDI file and insert proper instruments? I did neither. I entered them in by hand. I don't know if there are any MIDI files, and I don't trust other people's MIDI files because I can't tell you how many times. I'm sure you guys have looked at I'm really picky with that stuff. Like I want it to be perfect, or as perfect as I can get it. And it was also the point was an ear training exercise, but all of this you can see is just kind of entered in. That's why everything is nice and neat and perfect. If you look at all the MIDI, that's why everything is nothing's really. The only thing that's overlapping is the legato, because that's how you get the legato transition to work. If you don't, it'll just start a new note, and if you have it overlap over the next one, you'll get that nice transition, which makes it sound realistic. Fun little fact if you haven't messed with libraries that have legato. Have I gotten into any talks about scoring for films or shows? Nope. I mean, I've done the odd video game track, but that's just luck. If anyone here wants me to score something for their video game, I mean, you gotta pay me appropriately. But it's something I'd like to do. It's something I would say I'm not pursuing with the tenacity that one would have to do it to be sort of successful, because I think I have friends who are composers in this scene, and that's what they do. That's literally what they do and what they focus on. It's their dream. It's what they want. This is something that I really enjoy doing, but I don't know if I want it to be my job. I'll take a job, but I wouldn't want to have to put in the decade of grinding just to maybe break into the scene. And it is a very, very tough and competitive scene. And just like any other music industry, maybe even tougher, because there's just not that many opportunities relative to other things, so it's something I'd love to get into if I fall into it, if that makes sense. What's my part in writing for Animals as Leaders? Pretty involved with the actual writing itself, or more producer role, or overseeing everything? A little bit of both. It's the same thing that I did for the first album and the third album. I mean, the first album was just me and Tosin in my apartment. We were writing everything together. I wrote rhythms, leads, programmed all the drums for that, wrote and programmed all the bass and counterpoint and stuff like that. Joy of Motion was kind of more of the same deal. The difference, I only did 8 songs on Joy of Motion, but this time around, I'm only signed up for 5 songs, of which 4.5 are complete, and now we're just waiting for this virus to go away so that we can actually meet up again. But they may ask me to do more, which I'd be happy to do if they want. But I'm also happy just doing 5. It's kind of a low commitment thing, but I'm stoked with what we got. The 4 songs that we have down are some of my favorite things we've ever written, and I'm writing with the whole band, so that's really exciting. Must have been a huge endeavor to pick out all those instruments in that battle thing and record it. I mean, yeah, that was kind of the point, but it's also something I was really getting into. I wanted an excuse to build this template, that has everything. I guess I could use this. I could save this and use it as a template. This, on the brass side, we're using Cinebrass, which is an old library, but it just works really well. I think I was showing people, I really love, the French horns. Oh. Yeah, we're down an octave. Anything you play on French horn sounds like it's the most dominant melody. It just kind of cuts through everything. It's a very good sounding one. This was recorded before Audio Imperia Nucleus was released, because that has my current favorite French horn sound in it. But the next project I'll show you has that. But yeah, let me put this up to you guys. What do you guys want me to show you in this project? What would you like to see? What would you like to learn? I will be happy to break it down however you'd like it. This virus was horrible for musicians. You're not kidding. What headphones am I using? The Sennheiser HD800s. Does Hans Zimmer have strings now? He does. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Hans Zimmer Spitfire offerings have not been what I'm into, and it's kind of disappointing. Like, I have his drum library, and I think I have it open, and I don't think I've used any of it. It's a library I try to use because I paid a lot of money for it. And it takes a lot of work to get it sounding good, unfortunately. And then that's the only one I own. And then he put out this piano, which I was super excited about. I was like, yeah, Hans Zimmer piano. And it's 200 gigabytes. And it's like, who in their right mind would, use up 200 gigabytes of space for a piano when, I have incredible pianos that are like 5-10 gigs. It's just, and then I don't even think I bothered checking out the strings. I have string libraries I'm happy with, and a lot of people who I trust who tried it were like, yeah, you could skip that one. So not trying to talk shit on the guy. Obviously, he's an incredible composer, but for whatever reason, his stuff that he's done with Spitfire has not really hit the mark for me. And it's very expensive, so it's not the kind of stuff I want to buy and then never use again, kind of like I did with the HC drums, Let's see what we got here. You got Spitfire's new BBC core. It's extensively capable. Yeah, I mean, Spitfire themselves make great stuff. More than half of this stuff is Spitfire. Did I use any Spitfire on the? No, I think I just used Cinebrass for this. But actually, they have a. I think I just did that just to be different, maybe, or maybe just because I like the horn sound so much. But the Spitfire brass library is phenomenal. They have a lot of really cool libraries. We could look into some of. I was gonna do that like sort of at the end, like kind of open up some fun libraries and show you guys some sounds. What am I using to drive the HD800? It's not the HD800S. It's, unless you were just saying that. Yeah. Anyways, just using my Focusrite Red 8 Pre. There's no. I mean, the amp's fine on that. I'm getting all the volume I need, and got nothing in the way. I do have SonarWorks going on for my headphones, not for you guys because I would mess it up for you. But that makes them flat. These are not flat otherwise. But now, they're my favorites. What plugins I use? Compressors, reverb, etc. Okay, good question. So on the master bus, let's see what we're using here. Just like a little bit of EQ. So listening through. Clean it up a little bit, make it a little brighter. It's probably because I didn't bother gain staging all these tracks. Use a trimmer. I use the SSL like in a similar setting to what I use on my rock mixes, but it works. And Pro, so that works as well there too. When it comes to the actual, oh, that's actually interesting. Are there really no? Oh no, that's not true. There we go. So yeah, there we go. I'm just using QL spaces. So this is a convolution reverb. These are IRs. This is like a pretty. This was like a pretty popular convolution reverb plugin for orchestral stuff. I'll actually use this as like a snare drum reverb sometimes, because they have a bunch of different things. Let's see, presets. You have all these like halls and like actual places, and you got these caverns, long tunnels, Malibu Stone Courtyard. But then you've also got these concert halls. So I'm in this Dortmund concert hall right now, and it shows you how long, like 3.4 seconds of reverb. LA Piano Hall, SoCal Orchestral Hall, So I'm sure some of these are just not named for licensing reasons. But yeah. How do we go back? There we go. So that, like, on this here, it's, yeah. There's already reverb on it, but because I'm using different libraries and because I'm blending things, sometimes I'll put a reverb afterwards so it sounds kind of like they're in the same space. One of the big problems I'll have with blending libraries that are recorded in different places, they just kind of sound like they're in different places. Like some will have more reverb, so some will be more washy, less washy. So sometimes I'll just put, you know, reverb that I like on it just to kind of make it sound like it's all in one room. So that's with it. It's not like a massive difference. It's just a little bit more. It's actually a lot less than I thought it would be. If we take it off all of it, just makes it a little more roomy. And then I think the stuff that has the most plugins are the action strikes. Because again, I struggle with the drum. I just want these to sound big. So if we take these off completely. What do I have on these? Let's see. We've got a compressor there. You know, these EQs are great. Like these Slate EQs. They have like really clean top end. You can't really use it in like rock music or whatever. You can't really boost, but when you're doing electronic or like orchestral stuff where it's all very pure sounding, yeah, boost the crap out of the top end. It's nice to be able to mix like that where you're not just subtracting all the crap from your mix. You know, it's like, oh, everything sounds good and fits together really well. Let's boost some frequencies. That's nice, you know? So when that's earth, that's for some body there on that one. Looks like I've got a limiter there. It's an interesting place for that is probably just to kind of chop the transients and make it a little bit fatter, increase some of the sustain. You know, kind of like using it like a brick wall or like a compressor that's sort of maxed out. If you all got quantum leap spaces there, and Valhalla Room, which is adding some more. But as you can see, these are all really subtle moves. Like, you know, the good thing about these libraries is that they are they just sound great. They sound great on their own. Like that's a lot of what you're paying for is a room that they're recorded in. Like we can easily bypass all the plugins, right? So if we bypass all this stuff, this is with nothing. It doesn't sound like a world of difference. It's just a little bit of spit and polish, right? So that's all it really takes. That's one of the things I like about the orchestral stuff is it's not that like it already sounds great. But like sometimes you get these libraries and you just play around with them because you're just like, this sounds awesome, you know. But let's see what you guys are saying here. Throw drums and percussion on the battle theme. Sure. It looks like I've got this set up. 3 track. I did this so long ago that like I don't really remember. So it looks like we just got a bunch of hits. It's very similar to programming stuff. Like you could just see. And I remember this roll is just from the PlayStation. Like, so I was like, okay, well, we can recreate that. That's a snare. It's all about those bass drum hits and those taikos and things like that, you know. And then this one seems to be. This might actually be the Hans Zimmer stuff. Nope, it's not. It's the Spitfire Orchestra. Oh, it looks like this is actually just reinforcing the snare. Interesting. Oh, and I like what it's doing. It makes the snare You know what the thing is? Action Strikes is just recorded, or it's a Native Instruments thing. I don't know where it is, but the Spitfire one is recorded at Air, so it has a similar room to all these other libraries. So it actually, that was probably just to make it sound more realistic and have it fit. Then I just got a track here for cymbals. Am I missing it? You just wonder how much that dude gets paid, you know, who plays the cymbals. I feel like your job is just making sure you come in on time. You can't be like a bar late. You definitely can't be a beat late, but like you gotta know, like, oh, you know, I'm counting those rests and I'm counting them right. Like, I wonder if they fine you for every cymbal hit that you get wrong. Because I'd say, like, that would be the role I could handle, but knowing me, I'd probably screw that one up, too. So, yeah. That's the drums and percussion there. Do I usually record the different sections of my keyboard or program? I usually program. There's one exception where I'll use the keyboard. Sometimes I like to write just the melody, right? So I'll just, especially when you have a nice, like, legato... I'll do shit like that with like weird like notes that almost sound wrong, like towards the end there it's like, oh, where are you going? And then I'll see if I can reconcile that with some chords, you know, if I can make the orchestral stuff kind of work underneath it. And that's not only a good exercise, but it's kind of yielded some cool results in the past. So yeah, like that's a one time where I'll do it. Otherwise, it's just generally easier for me to just, you know, plug the notes in because I know what I want, you know. Like this is spiccato, so I just know it's so easy to program in Cubase. You can just duplicate this, you know. So it takes very little time. The only part of this that's not canon is where is this? I added this little section for fun. This part. Tried to reference some of the other themes. I've heard the orchestral versions like do these breaks, and I was referencing like some of them. Was it like distant worlds or whatever? Their orchestral versions, and trying to see like if I could discern like at least how they interpreted certain instruments I couldn't pick out, like, you know, is that a violin, is that a flute, like what's going on. And they'll extend some stuff and they'll like kind of throw in some stuff, so I was like, I'll just throw in a little section of my own there. I think that's a One Wing Angel reference. Yeah. That's just a response I did, just trying to do some like John Williams-y stuff. That's one thing I noticed, like John Williams, a lot of these guys like that, like get away with some like really atonal shit. Like as long as you have the right context, you can like, you know, like the notes here are just and it's all over like this static note. And I've got these like harmonizing tremolo lines. I like the sound of these. Like, you get the timing right, it almost sounds like it's doing that like double bowed thing, you know? And this is one of the things. I'm probably should be better about this, and I'm better about this when you play, but like when you're playing this stuff, especially with with the legato stuff, when you are and this is not legato technically, but I'm treating it as if it is. But even on any long held thing, actually how hard you hit the note doesn't determine the velocity, and they've multi-sampled these so that, you know, they're recorded different layers. But basically you have this it's usually on CC1. That's what determines the volume. That's how you get that ramp up into the next section. So that's important to know. That's why all these things are like, they look like they're programmed. And actually, sometimes these will be programmed a little bit cleverly, where like certain velocities, like max velocity, will have a different sound or certain things. Or you'll hear on the legato ones, like the effect of that is like if I do a soft second note, it does portamento. You're hearing the two libraries having different approaches to portamento. It's kind of funny. Like when you solo it, you hear it. But so I probably wouldn't have it by itself, but in context, you'll never hear that. But yeah. Would you like better Slate or Fab Filter? I like them both, man. You don't really have to choose, and I don't. I use there's certain plugins I really like. Like I still have had a hard time. Why are we disconnected? Are we connected here? Is this just my laptop acting up right now? It's very annoying if that's the case. I need to figure out what is going on. Too many viruses on here. But it's a Mac. It shouldn't have a virus. All right, let's test it here. Let's find out. Twitch will give us the answer here. Yeah, we're still up and running. Okay, good. Yeah, now we can just do some Twitchception right here. Oh man, this is gonna get confusing to look at. Like it's just gonna go into the hole of forever. No, what happens? Oh. All right, let me see if I can. That's so weird. These are both on Wi-Fi as well. I don't know why this one just decided it's not working. But I cannot read your comments. Just bear with me for 1 second so I can read your comments. Yeah, Chrome is acting up. That's what it is. All right, let's see what I missed. Actually, I'm not even going to be able to see what I missed because it's just going to start a fresh chat. But is it even working? It seems like it's just barely working. There's always the phone. All this technology, and I can't even get a simple stream to work. Don't you love that, guys? That is very frustrating. It's just Chrome. It says cannot detect internet connection. That is weird. Maybe this is like in some weird spot where it hates internet. Who knows? Yeah. Oh, look, I move it like an inch to the left and like it works. The mysteries of Wi-Fi. Okay, guys. So if you asked questions, just ask them again because I didn't see them. Did not see them and I won't see them. But I have it loaded up. So let's see what I missed. Just go play Car Simulator. You don't like this? Not a fan? Can I recommend some budget libraries? So what do you mean by budget? Oh yeah, I need to change my stream title. Good call. I keep forgetting to do that. There we go. Do you have different recordings for first violin and second violin? Do you use the same patch for both parts? So it depends, actually. So if we look at this here, what are we doing? So So you see, there's certain things where they'll harmonize, and certain things where they'll reinforce each other. There's certain libraries as well, and even with these, you can kind of split it up to where you can even, you know, have different sections. LA Scoring Strings is really good about that, to where like it has an A, B, and C section. It's called divisi, so you could actually have your violin one playing like a 3-part harmony. I mean, if you think about it, you could do whatever you want with a real orchestra, and there's, you know, up to 16 violins in a section sometimes, so you could have them do whatever you want. So this is to sort of approximate that without you having to sort of layer it and have the sound of 50, 60 violins just to get harmony, you know? Sub 100. Audio Imperia has this one called Nucleus. The full one is way more expensive, but they have this entry level one. I hear good things about that Spitfire BBC. Ooh, Diluted 23. I know who that is. What's up, Markiwi? How you doing? Everybody say hi to Alex Markides. And I realized something. Because this computer was just down this whole time, completely missed this. So sorry, Jeff Santa donated. Thank you. Thanks again, man. It's always good to see you. Hey, man, gotta run. Just wanted to donate. Oh, man, you didn't even have to do it. What a sweetheart. Love this cover, man. Sweet. Do you guys want to look at anything else on this, or do you want me to move on to the next project? How do you link your DI and raw guitar tracks for clip selection and sync in the clip window of the link group? That I can't show you on this project. We're doing orchestral stuff today, and that was a bit of a pain in the ass to figure out. I have it set up in a folder. I think you hit K on that folder and it does group editing. Hopefully that helps you out. But you have to create linked audio tracks as well, just for record enabling. Next project. What's next? Okay. Oh, you want to see flutes real quick? All right, we'll see. How do I approach the bombing mission? Very similar in terms of listening, but it's just the execution that's different. Okay, so on the flutes, let's see. So this is one of those interesting things where it's like switching between legato and staccato, right? You can see that. So this first part is... Yeah. All right, and it's enough of that. Sneak peek of P5. There's no we haven't even started writing that yet. Are the expensive orchestral libraries worth it in the rock and metal projects where the finer details won't be heard? That's hard to say, man. It depends on what you're after and what you consider expensive. Like if you get Nucleus or Albion or Metropolis Arc 1, those will sit really well. They're expensive for what they are, but they have the whole orchestra. All of these things, like, you know, these libraries, like the Symphonic Woodwinds, Berlin Woodwinds, cost as much as that entire library, and it's just one thing. So it's just how sort of granular you want to get with it. That might be a bit more overkill. I'd say you'd probably be fine if you're in the context of a mix doing those sort of broad brush stroke libraries. So yeah, my favorite ones are Spitfire Albion 1, Audio Imperia Nucleus, and Orchestral Tools Metropolis Arc 1. Let's look at another project. Let us look at this one. Let's hope it opens without crashing, you know. Looking to upgrade the pickups in my PRS SE. What would you recommend between BKP Ragnarok and Juggernaut? Well, so I answer this all the time. The Ragnarok is a really in-your-face, kind of compressed, like aggressive pickup that actually is surprisingly good with cleans. Like it wasn't designed to be at all. We didn't even like test it on cleans when we were designing it, but it works shockingly well. But the goal is to be aggressive. It's really fun to play. The Juggernaut is like this surgical tool. The whole goal was to just be like a jack of all trades and be able to tackle any style. It's super dynamic. So that's if you have a very, if you have a strong picking hand and you really want to feel the difference between your notes, like that's the way I'd tell you. So it's more like sort of like raw, like it's a sledgehammer versus a scalpel is I think how I've described it in the past. But that's really just up to you on what vibe you think would be better there. All right. How many instruments are playing bass parts? I mean, like all the sections have like lower instruments. So you'll have what is it, like the bassoon, you'll have like the tuba, and the trombones can go pretty low, and you'll have the contrabass and the cello. So each section actually covers the full range with some of its instruments. It's interesting because then you get like instruments that double stuff. So this is something that I was working on. I did post this up on Instagram. This is just something I actually forgot about this. I think I made this as a way to just make a template. If you guys remember me talking about these articulations, that's what's here at the bottom. I have all my articulations there, so I've got it on one track, but I'm not really using it here, so it's kind of a waste. But I was just trying to test it out, see if it worked. Let's see. Oh, that's the Olafur Arnold's piano. That's great. This is something that needs to be finished for sure, because it's just half finished. But I think I knew where I wanted to go with this. Just kind of keep this theme going like this. I want this thing to be bass. Just messing around now, but I want this to be like really in your face, so I have to add some stuff in probably. Let's see. Where's nucleus? We'll do this. I'm doing this kind of backwards. And we'll do legato for this. As you can see, I am terrible at labeling everything because I just want to get to writing. I don't want to have to. Alright, cool. I think this is it. I could just take it. This we can. Wish that was louder. Actually, this is not actually legato, so we can stack it. There we go. Do that. We'll do the same thing on this one, probably. There we go. Now we're getting the effect we want. And this is legato, so it just means it's a mono instrument. And that's too low anyways. In any case, we want this to be a single note. So that could be over the top like that. See if that works. I don't think that note exists. Now we'll just go with that. This can be. All right. Oh, and this is an important thing. These are coming in late. This is such a big thing. These samples have like such a crazy start time sometimes that like you have to bring them back. So this is the delay. What I'm doing here is I'm making it actually read the MIDI like 110 milliseconds early, which seems like a lot, but that should get it on the click. I mean, I would normally try to time this out like against a click, but whatever. It's a good enough guess right now. Is this all centered? I'll move it, make it a bit more drastic. Kind of cool is chorus, right? What synth did I use in the beginning of It's Only Smiles? I used the Prophet 6. All right, sorry, I've been ignoring the chats. The drums on this one are a little different. This one I think I was actually trying to use my Hans Zimmer drums, so that's what it is. But then I was like, these need to be more powerful. On this part, it's all Hans Zimmer. But this part is like damage. Damage is the opposite. It comes for free with Contact, and it's just huge sounding. And layered, it sounds good, you know? Reinforce the heavier parts there. Maybe that'll be good like that. Should just be the first half. Like it like that. We can fix this. Those hits need to come down. There we go. Cool. For choir, we have a few options. I actually like this choir that's just built into Metropolis Arc 1. Let's listen. Oh, we could do high and low. We'll do legato and we'll do sustains. So I can have a lead line that's legato. And the sustains can make the chord. We'll have the low sustains. Yeah, that should be good. Again, not labeling a damn thing because I'm stupid. I am stupid. Speaking of which, you guys want to see me sim race? I was thinking about actually, like, trying to stream, like, Final Fantasy 7 Remake or Witcher 3 or something. I don't know. Just some gaming. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do some eerie woodwind section layers on this. So I'm going to tell you a little secret about woodwinds. I love woodwinds, but they make things sound very sort of fantasy, soft, whatever. It'd be very hard to work woodwinds into this. It could be done, but it's like, is there really a point? Like, this is like this kind of hard-hitting brass, like low instrument you want kind of in your face stuff. So I'd probably do a choir or something like that, you know? Sekiro, like, I know I can't play those games. I'm terrible at all those games. You don't want to, You own contact, but it says damage is 290. You need complete. Sorry, I might have meant complete. You know? The band. The name's in the band. All right. Actually, we'll start with this one. All right, that's our range. So. Bring that back because it's coming in late. Really? No. Oh man, this is where I could have used They have these phrase library ones too, which are really cool. They're more in depth. I do like the vibe of this one though. But let's see. Let's see if we can get this one to work the way I want to. need the legato one for this, I've realized, but whatever. Fix a few notes here. Oh, it actually worked. Cool. So, already getting this to sound a little more epic. And we'll use this for the men for the bass. Copy that onto the correct part, maybe. Genius. All right, cool. So this what I think it is. This. So yeah, you can kind of see how I'll work on these ideas. So yeah, let's see. but I have an idea which I want to try. Kind of interesting. This is how you end up with all the tracks. You're literally seeing it develop right now. Where would it be? Sound iron. Is it Mercado? There we go. Phrase builder. So this is really interesting. So do this. So you can actually get it to change what they say. Let's see. Let's go with Doom E. I don't know what. Sin is kind of a late one. We don't like that one. So Doom. There we go. Late. We got to bring this back a little bit. It's early. We'll find that sweet spot. It's probably around there. So we'll add 4 more so that it changes. Oh, that's why. Because it's doing Mercado there. I want it to be staccato. These phrase builders, kind of wild. It's too on the nose, isn't it? fun. Anyways, guys, I've got to do other stuff like play video games. So we're gonna call it right now. But for the next one, if I'm not streaming games, next sort of project I'll do probably be prepping It's Only Smiles to show you guys. You guys want to see that? I mean, if you have any suggestions for things, just type them in the comments right now. But I'll probably I keep posting things online asking what you guys want to see. But because I'm still discovering what I can do with this. I'll probably get a capture card so that I can get the PS4 stuff done with like camera angles and microphones and whatever in OBS. So with that said, let me know what you'd like to see more of. I have a lot of fun doing this with you guys. So if you want to see any other Periphery songs, I think It's Only Smiles would be a fun one to take a look at. I need to prep it, and as I prep it, I'll probably like find a few things. I wonder if I'll have to show you guys a few projects, because that song went through a few iterations. Like there's some riffs that got cut that you guys have never heard. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what I prep for you. But that one should be a pretty exciting one. But as always, thanks so much for putting up with me and hanging out with me for a little bit. I hope that this was at least a little bit educational for you guys. And I will catch you guys soon. Be safe, all right?